Let's move on to the polarizing topic of the week, and that would be the topic of Hulk Hogan, Sean.
Yeah.
I can't remember what day it was. Maybe it was Sunday when you texted me and said Hogan's back. And so I looked into things. Now I got to say, WWE they were very strategic in how they worded this.
They're still being very strategic in the damage control they do.
Yeah, the video, which we'll get into in a minute, wasn't the wisest thing that they put up. But so they strategically did not say that he has re-signed. They did not say he's back. They did not say anything. All they said is he's been reinstated into the Hall of Fame after a 3-year suspension. And that is the verbiage they used. They brought him to Pittsburgh for Extreme Rules. He met with the roster.
Cleveland.
Via
Cleveland. They brought him in.
So was that just a connection, or was he in Cleveland for a reason?
Come on, man. Hulk Hogan, if they don't have to give him a connection flight, they're not going to. That was the first sign right there.
Him being the businessman that he is, did he stop off in Cleveland for a Comic-Con or something?
I don't think so.
Because that's Hogan. He'll pocket 20 grand on his way in.
That's true. That's a good point.
But so they brought him in. He addressed the roster backstage. Apparently it was taped, but nothing's been released. He didn't appear on camera on the pay-per-view, and he left before Raw. We'll get into a minute into our thoughts about it, but I want to touch upon this first. So Mark Henry, who was critical in the past about this whole thing and what Hogan said and everything, but he's also a very fair guy, Mark Henry. I think it was TMZ that he was talking to, and he said that there was a 50-50 split among the black wrestlers in WWE as far as Hogan coming back and the speech that he gave and everything. But he also told Busted Open Radio that he talked to Hogan at Extreme Rules and that he was, quote, very optimistic after speaking to Hogan. Then there were other guys. Kofi Kingston is one. He posted a statement on social media basically saying that the New Day is indifferent on this news. He said he has no problem with Hogan being reinstated into the Hall of Fame given his legacy and all of that. But he said that otherwise he's not going to forget his comments. They're going to go about their business. He said it's not going to have any impact on their performance in the ring or anything like that. Titus O'Neil took a little bit of a different route. Apparently, because I saw something on Twitter where he's saying there's false information.
Yeah, he didn't storm out.
No, that's not what I heard. Okay. People that were posting negative comments about Hogan, Titus O'Neil liked the negative comments.
Correct.
Which got people thinking, okay, he's not cool about this news. Then Titus O'Neil said that he was in agreement with Kofi's statement. Because Kofi's statement didn't say, fuck Hulk Hogan. It just said...
they won't associate with him until they feel he's genuine.
Right, but he said, I understand them putting him back in the Hall of Fame. I'm indifferent about the news otherwise. He wasn't negative in any way. And Titus said, I'm in agreement with what he said. Booker T back in May told TMZ, quote, everybody deserves a second chance. It's what life is all about. I would say welcome back. And James Ellsworth on his podcast, which honestly, Sean, I didn't know was still going on until I saw this news.
He's not signed, that's why.
He's not signed.
No.
He's on a per diem, like a per night.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, James Ellsworth said, for the most part, it seemed like everybody accepted his apology. So let me give you my opinion. I saw some of your podcasts, so I saw like what Jeff Hawkins said and what Alex said and all that. Here's my opinion. I think that because of who he is, he deserves a second chance. That's my opinion. I'm not going to defend what he said, but if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, there's a good chance that Vince McMahon would never have succeeded going national in the mid-'80s.
Good chance we're not doing this podcast right now.
Yes, good chance we're not doing this podcast. Good chance WWE's not around. They're not signing a new deal that's going to pay them $500 million a year in the next 4 years, whatever it is. That's because of Hulk Hogan. He was the right guy in the right place at the right time. I think he's earned a second chance. If it was Enzo Amore, Sean, that made those comments, Enzo Amore can go work at a fast food joint for the rest of his life as far as I'd be concerned as Vince McMahon. But because it's Hulk Hogan, I think he deserves a second chance. I do think, though, that there should be some conditions on it. The first one is, obviously, don't do anything like that again. Don't say anything like that again. If anything comes out again like that, you're done. That'd be number one. Number two, I would want to gauge the fan reaction and the locker room reaction. Because they're going to bring him on TV eventually, right? So what's going to happen when they bring him on live television? Is the crowd going to shit on him? Is it going to be a negative reaction? Is the negative reaction going to trump the positive reaction? And if that's the case, they might want to consider sending him home. But otherwise, I think he deserves it, and that's my opinion. What do you think?
So I often mention, a lot of times I don't fish for storyline scoops and stuff like that. I mean, we've got the back and forth about the Bryan contract deal. I take the temperature of the locker room very often. And it is 50-50. However, in any quotes given to TMZ, I disregard those immediately because Ryan Satin, who used to work for TMZ, I don't know if you saw a thread he had going over the last several months of TMZ trying to get Hogan back in the WWE. Like just story after story. Hogan deserves another chance. Says this person. Says this person. Says this person. It was very comical the way that it was.
What's in it for TMZ? Is it because he leaks them information?
Probably. I mean, whenever he needs a camera crew, you better believe they're there.
Yeah.
So the situation that I've heard was everybody knew it was coming. They just didn't know when.
Yeah.
Nobody stormed out. There were some people that talked to him individually. Hogan left in the middle of the pay-per-view because, he didn't have anything to do. And a lot of people left in the middle of the pay-per-view. They're not booked for it. A ton of people weren't there, don't need to be there. So, yeah, there's that. And I thought Kofi Kingston's statement on behalf of New Day was as good as it gets.
I thought he was very fair. He was very fair about it.
The best thing he could have possibly said, and it's really no wonder that those guys are so successful in what they're doing. As far as Hulk Hogan, I've had people that say, oh, it's not that bad. Well, yeah, it was that bad.
It was bad.
When he went to visit his son in jail, he was literally trash-talking a dead guy and then just not wanting to be reincarnated into a black family.
Yeah.
Like that, those were his concerns at that point. Jesus, man. That's pretty gross. It's 50-50. That's just the way it is. Some people aren't happy about it at all, but nobody's storming out over it. Nothing that I heard. Triple H did the introduction and said, hey, he's back. Or he didn't say he's back, but Hogan was telling people glad to be back. They are very much pretending that he isn't back, but as multiple wrestlers told me this weekend, they ain't bringing him back without a deal. And another one said it's not a coincidence that they did this a few days after another company announced a Madison Square Garden show, even though he's never had anything to do with that company. That's just the way WWE operates. Same person said that their big deal is right now they want to get everybody under the umbrella who could possibly be a game changer or who can possibly be a needle mover, and he is one of those.
Now, I know that I think you reported that you think he had signed a new contract or something, and WWE hasn't said anything. One thing that did happen was on Monday, WWE posted a video on their YouTube channel promoting their Charity Buzz subsite, which is
something they do all the time with people that don't have deals.
Exactly. So it's called superstarsforhope.com, and the video was of Hogan promoting it. And like you said, what do you think? They brought him to the pay-per-view, and hey, while you're here, can you come over here and... No, there's something. There's something. But
yes. They're vehemently denying it, but right now, I'll be honest with you, they're going to vehemently deny anything that I put out there.
Yeah,
so
there's something there, and as soon as word got out about that video, they took it down.
I half expect that if I report that Vince McMahon is still the chairman, he might step down at this point.
Okay, can you report that he's still the head of creative? Can you do that daily?
My God, yeah.
Because maybe that'll help out if you do that, bud.
No press release from WWE on the situation either.
Yeah.
So this is a very different way that they handled it. Conflicting reports about whether there were cameras there. There were cameras filming him. There were
Ellsworth said so
him.
Too. Ellsworth said so. So, and he was there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they recorded it, and they're going to wait for the opportune moment. They're going to wait until things die down a little bit more, and then they're going to put it into like a WWE 24 special.